Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And Shalom, to sincere Akim, and you sisters out there as well. So I got an article here from, this is news and prophecy and news. I got an article here from Reuters.com. And this is news that come out a couple days ago, alright? But still of great importance, alright? It says, protests in France against C19 health pass rules. And I'm kind of, hitting two birds with one stone with this. And there's even more information that recently came out. But let's get into it. It says Paris, July 14th, Reuters. Police in Paris clashed with protesters railing against President Emmanuel Macron's plan to require a C19 vaccine certificate or negative PCR test to gain entry to bars, restaurants, and cinemas from next month. Alright? So you see how they're giving a choice, alright? A lesser of two evils, so to speak. By if you don't want to take the vaccine, you can take the PCR test. But then we're talking about how often do people go to bars and restaurants and cinemas throughout the course of a week, let alone a month. If a normal individual in the world would frequent it quite often. So we're talking about being tested probably twice in a week, maybe more than that, 3 times in a week possibly, just to maintain that. And a lot of people will grow frustrated and just say, you know what, let me just take this vaccine and just get it over and done with. And it's just like a one shot, kills everything kind of thing. But it's kind of like, it reminds me of like when you deal with like over here with like contactless payment, using your bank card instead of having an Oyster card. It kills all the having to go to the machine, tapping your Oyster, topping it up by transferring the money from your bank account onto your from your bank account onto your Oyster card, and then going about your travel. Then if you ain't got enough money, you're gonna have to do it again, kind of thing. So it's just convenience, alright, in hopes for people to conform to this vaccine passport, alright, or certificate, should I say. Macron this week announced sweeping measures to fight a rapid surge in new C infections, including a mandatory vaccination of health workers and new health pass rules for the wider public. So now the health workers are the ones that are going to need, they're under mandatory vaccination, alright? So if you work in the health field, it's a must, you get it, alright? And a lot of them have been holding out. I remember I watched a couple videos on that, and a lot of them said they would like to see it play out before they get it. But if they want to work, they gotta go get it. They said, I am doing so. He went further than most other European nations have done, as a highly contagious Delta variant finds a new wave of cases. See, and it comes just at the right time, this variant. And this is what they can do. Now they can cook. It's like a controlled threat on the people, all right? And the people didn't meet with no form of resistance. And now, for them to resist it, there's too many things in place, all right? And the fear has been set. So, they can control the masses of the people. Let me read on. So it says, and other governments are watching carefully to see how the French public responds. And that's the point, all right? This is like a crash dummy. See how it goes, and then once they know, you're going to see this basically get implemented across the board. And this is going to be a norm, all right? So let me read this scripture very quickly. This is Revelations 12:12. It reads, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth, and to the sea, and of the sea, Salakia. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So Esau knows he's got a short time, so that's why he's coming down with great wrath. And they're trying to, build the plane while they're flying it, so to speak. The police fired tear gas on several occasions as pockets of protesters overturned garbage cans and set a mechanical digger alight. Some protesters away from the skirmishes wore badges saying no to the health pass. Alright? So you got uproars of the people. And remember, let's not forget they had the Yellow Jackets protesting for like a consecutive of 55 weeks. Something crazy, man. Where they're going out every week and they're protesting against, I can't recall the protest, what it was about. But you can look it up, Yellow Jackets protests. Alright, only stopped due to COVID. Fuck, I wasn't even meant to say that, man. Due to the sea. So I said some critics of Macron's plan, which will require shopping malls, cafes, bars, and restaurants to check the health passes of all patrons from August, accuse the president of trampling on freedoms and discriminating against those who do not want the sea shot. It's totally arbitrary and wholly undemocratic, said one protester who identified himself as Jean Louis, very French. Mandatory says Macron says the vaccine is the best way to put France back on a path of normalcy, and that he is encouraging as many people as possible to get inoculated. And yeah, they would say that because this is an agenda to move towards, you know, that MOB, alright, whereby it will allow Esau to fulfill his God complex, basically being able to track every person upon the earth, alright, and in doing so, also control their movements, alright, for whatever desired purpose that Esau has, alright. Quickly read this. Alright. So this is Ezekiel 28:2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am the Most High. I sit in the seat of the Most High, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not the Most High. Though thou set thy heart as the heart of the Most High, though thou set thy heart as the Most High. Yeah, that's what Esau does, alright? He does that, alright? So it's the book of 2 Thessalonians 2 and... No, I don't want this actually. What I want is... I'll read this instead actually. This is Revelations 13 and 2. Or 3, shall I say. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Alright? And this is what's happening right now. The world is wandering after the beast. Well, that's ultimately they're wandering after the beast, and that's setting the steps in place for everyone to, you know, ultimately take that MOB, alright, you know, to basically be set for that time of destruction. There were protests in other cities, including Nantes, Marseille, and Montpellier. The show of discontent took place on Bastille Day, the anniversary of the 1789 storming of a medieval fortress in Paris, which marked the turning point in the French Revolution. Among other proposals in government's draft bill is the mandatory isolation of 10 days to anyone who tests positive, with police making random checks. French media reports, so police state basically being implemented, which already is more or less since the start of this thing. French media reported the Prime Minister's office did not respond when asked to confirm the detail. Alright? So basically it's that time, man. With this this pass, it's basically setting it in place, setting this MOB in place. Alright? So I just want to read one scripture and go into one word and just show you how so. So this is Revelations 13, and I ain't gonna read the word because I believe it flags up, but I'll go into the word so you know what word it is. So it's Revelation 13:16. A crucible was full of great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a MOB in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And I believe you're not actually allowed to shop, alright, if you don't go into or it's actually places of leisure, alright. Wow. So yeah, they're saying bars, cafes, museums, tourist sites, and cultural train travel. So you can't travel around, right? So let me read this. Let me go into this word here for Mark. What is meant to say, man? But it's man. Let's see. If it gets taken down, it gets taken down. So the word there is charagma, alright, but that which means the stamp, imprinted, thing carved, sculpture, graven work, alright. So then it goes to carax, which is a pale, a stake, a palisade or rampart, something, impels the earth to set a stamp or mark your territory. But this is the word I want to go into, because this information that basically is going to be carried in a QR code will basically bring up information about what your ability to maneuver within society, and basically say you got the green light because your health, your biometrics is in good nick, basically. So it says the word here, the root word is grapho, which means to write with reference to a form of letters. So yeah, a writing basically, alright, to fill with writing. And that's where you get the word calligraphy, alright? I mean, you get, like graffiti, calligraphy, it basically goes to writing, alright? So that's where they're going to have your information in there. So this is, obviously, I have information to know that, I don't have no information actually. I'm just making the assumption that, I'm not even going to say nothing because it's just not even relevant. But so with that, that's the lesson, man. I hope you're edified. Till the next one, say shalom.